I had stood half an hour in stop-start drizzle when the huge wooden door, set implacably into the prison walls, was pushed open wide. I watched as Dad stepped out, dangling a brown paper bag from his fingers. He was accompanied by a guard. I closed my umbrella and called, "Over here!" But he'd already seen me. His thick black hair, the hair I'd inherited, had taken on streaks of grey over the 3 years. I'd noted the gradual change during my visits. As he walked towards me, wearing the dark trousers he was no doubt arrested in, I realised that his hair and mine were now different. He'd regained some of the weight he'd lost from his huge frame in the early days of imprisonment, when he'd been deprived of 1,000,000 calories a week in whiskey. But, nonetheless, his shirt hung looser on him. Thinner in body and, I knew, in spirit. Perhaps something in the prison air smudged people's vitality as it smudged away time and left them behind everyone else, wondering how prices had risen so fast or what had happened to that newsagent on the corner. But all was not lost. "Behave yourself, Dave," shouted the guard, watching Dad go, "or that Mrs. Thatcher will slap you straight back in here." My father turned and stuck 2 fingers up. "Dad," I said. The guard laughed and stepped back through the door. It thudded shut and jangling keys on the other side locked it with a crunch. "Hello, short arse." Dad patted me on the head. "Thanks for coming." "It's study period on Wednesday afternoons. It was you or Jane Austen." "And you chose me, of course." "This time?" I shook the rain from my umbrella and fastened it up. "I'm glad it's only you. I had visions of that bloody Bridget woman tagging along." "Come on." I pointed down the road. "Let's find a bus to the station before it rains again." Prison had been good for Dad in some ways. He'd admitted it during my final visit before his release, but he'd also said, "I've ruined my chance to be a proper dad." "I don't need pushing on the swings," I'd said. "But there are things left on the dadding list." "Dadding isn't a word." "I'm a poet, remember?" I told him. "I would be, if homework let me." Now Dad glanced back at the prison walls as though he thought they might follow him. "The people who built that place knew how to do grim." "The people who built that used to include dead relatives in photos." "What?" "I learned it in history." We reached the bus stop. As we waited, I said, "I bought you a Mars bar." I dipped into my anorak pocket. "Happy release day." He tore its wrapper off. "You don't have to eat it immediately." "I bloody do. You don't have any fags, do you?" "Sorry." "I'm gasping," he said. He stretched out the A sound in fags and gasping, partly because of his Devon upbringing and partly because of his addiction.